With the remake of Lollipop Chainsaw being announced and the uncertainty of how that remake is going to wind up without the involvement of James Gunn, Suda51, and most likely Jimmy Uringer of Mindless Self-Indulgence not being involved, there's definitely some worry with how this new version of the game will stand up to the original. Censorship changes, who knows? We just have to wait and see, right? And, you know, it was one of my favorite games from the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation, and the original game has been stuck on those consoles, no backwards compatibility, so you would have to have one of those systems and the original game if you wanted to play it now. So, cool, a remake is a nice idea, but, I mean, I really love the original. And I do have a Steam Deck, and I've used it as an emulation machine quite a bit since I got it, but haven't touched PS3 emulation. So today, I wanted to give it a crack. If you've followed any of my previous emulation videos on Steam Deck, you know things are fairly simple if you get set up with EmuDeck. I'll have a playlist linked down below if you want to see how to get set up on that and how I use SyncThing to transfer large files from my PC to the Steam Deck, as those concepts and videos are essentially going to be relevant to what we're doing today if you want to get caught up. So check that stuff out. So getting PS3 going, it is fairly straightforward, but does require a couple steps to actually run the emulator. One, obviously you need games. Now, I cannot directly link you to games, but I can say a search for ALVRO PS3 on the Internet Archive will get you to where you need to be. So once I downloaded Lollipop Chainsaw, I unzipped it and I had a folder with the game's name with the game files inside. That folder simply needs to get into the PS3 folder in the ROMs folder on your Steam Deck. I transferred that there, and then there's one more step needed. We need the PS3 firmware for the RPC S3 emulator to run. This can be obtained on the official PlayStation website actually, so pretty simple. I can link you to that. But one thing you need to know to download the file is you cannot just click the button. It won't download it. I was kind of stuck for a second. I was like, what's going on here? You have to right click and choose Save Link, as then it will be downloaded once you do that. So once you have that downloaded and it's on your Steam Deck, either you downloaded it while on the Steam Deck or you transferred it over. It doesn't really matter where you have it located on the Steam Deck, as you're going to have to select it to install it. So on the Steam Deck, wherever your emulation install is located, you will need to find the launcher for the PS3 emulator. For me, it was in the following location in the File Explorer on the desktop. It goes from Home to Emulation to Tools to Launcher, all those folders, and then execute the RPCS3 file. Once that opens up, you click File and Install Firmware. And then you select that firmware wherever you have it located. It'll take a few seconds to install, and once that's complete, you're pretty much ready to go. Now, depending on how you are going to run the game, if you want to generate your game list with EmuDeck within Steam, you can go to the Steam ROM Manager and generate the app list, and once it's done going through the providers, you could save the list and return to gaming mode and launch the game from your Steam library. I like to have, folders set up for all the different systems, and it seems like EmuDeck, some kind of update at some point, it automatically does that now, so that's kind of a good thing. I did have to go back through and change some of my collections that I had set up because it would duplicate them. I'm sure there's an option in EmuDeck somewhere to either do that or not do it, but yeah, it just seems like it automatically does that now, which is kind of cool, so pretty convenient. Now, when you launch the game, as I've only launched Lollipop Chainsaw, that's what I'm talking about today. It may take a little while to get the game going, as it's compiling like PPU modules and textures or something, and it's just getting set up. So this is just a one-time thing. After it's done, it doesn't do it every time you boot the game up, but that first time it can take a few minutes, so be patient. Just give it a moment. Then the game will, get up and running, and you're ready to go. So once I did get the game running on the Steam Deck, I was very happy to see the game had no issues loading and playing. Some initial shaders needed to compile, once the game booted up, and every once in a while it will have to continue compiling shaders, but it didn't cause any slowdown or weirdness for me beyond the first few seconds of the game. I noticed the shaders weren't like all there, but after a couple seconds I didn't have that issue at all within the game, and it was just like during a cutscene, so it didn't really bother me too much. And throughout playing it, I didn't have any of those issues at all anytime that it said it was compiling shaders. Now, there will be a notification that shows on the bottom left of the screen whenever it is compiling shaders. I believe this is part of the native UI for the PS3 emulator here. And from what I understand, it can be turned off in emulator settings if you don't want to see it. But I haven't really messed with the emulator at all so far. Only what I've shown in this video is what I've done. Just haven't messed with anything. I haven't changed any settings. Done nothing at all. Just playing the game, and that is what you're seeing in this video today. Have an EmuDeck set up, everything just works, after I did these couple, well, really it was one step. Obviously, you need to add games, right? But getting into it, controls work as they should. The game plays extremely well on the Steam Deck. It seems to remain and, be at a mostly constant 30 FPS throughout the game. I did play for a few hours, and I had nothing noticeable that I could complain about. And typically for me, if there's anything glaring, it just kind of takes me out of it and I can't enjoy the game. I recorded several hours of footage of this game for this few-minute video because I just got into it and there was nothing to pull me out. So that's a good thing for me, because emulation is, if it doesn't work very well, or there's too many, if there's noticeable glitches and stuff, I just give up. I don't want to play it. And I had no complaints here with that. So that's a huge positive for me. The game looks and sounds great. I'm pretty impressed. Now, as I said, I'm not very experienced with PS3 emulation, as not quite as much as I am with various other emulators. So I really couldn't tell you what other games work or don't work on the Steam Deck with this emulator at this time anyway. But I'd be willing to bet there's going to be some mixed performance depending on the games you want to play. Now, if you are interested in finding out more, or having me do any kind of follow-ups, drop a comment down below for me with suggestions of PS3 games you want me to test out on the Steam Deck, and I'll produce a future video. Obviously, I can't do every single request, but if there's a lot of requests, I'll go through and see what is the most popular, and I'll grab 5 to 10 different games type of thing, just depending on what they are, to get a nice variety of games to test. So yeah, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get a more varied test of performance for you guys with this emulator on the Steam Deck. Now, if you need a dock to play your Steam Deck on a monitor, like how I used to record my footage today, I have a link in the description to a Belkin USB hub that I've been using with no issues at all, and it's reasonably priced. I mean, the official Valve Steam Deck dock has been delayed, so we don't know exactly when that's coming out. So in the time being, there are options out there. Anything that you're interested in that I use for the Steam Deck, link in the description. So really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye!